Hello, this is Alonzo Bodden. I want to welcome you to episode 350 of my podcast, Who's Paying Attention? Now, some people still tell me, hey, I didn't know you had a podcast. Well, after 350 episodes, there's a hell of a lot of people that do know, and I appreciate every one of you for listening. I have gone to different podcast networks, different formats. It has at times been sporadic lately, and you can thank Colette Greenstein, my publicist and producer, for this. It has been relatively consistent, dropping on Wednesdays with the All Things Comedy Network. This week I couldn't drop yesterday, got too tied up, but dropping today, Thursday. And I'm also dropping late because I really had to think about this podcast and what I want to do with this podcast. And as always, I hope you bear with me. Now, I asked earlier, would people like it to change? Did they want more funny, whatever? And the responses I got were just keep doing what I'm doing. So that is what I'll do. I won't have an interview this week or next week, but when I come back with interviews, I'm going to have a guy who I absolutely love. His name's Brian Babylon. He was with NPR in Chicago. He's a comedian. He replaced me on KBLA Talk Radio, and he has a lot to say. So Brian's going to be coming up soon. And the reason that I don't have guests and we're sporadic for a couple of weeks is I'm back to traveling. Last week, I was in Portugal. It was absolutely amazing. Triumph Motorcycles invited me to Portugal to test ride a new bike. If you know anything about motorcycles, it's what they call an adventure bike, meaning it's a large motorcycle made to go on the road and off-road, dirt roads, etc., like that. The adventure being you could ride anywhere. It was a bucket list trip to get to ride in Portugal, in the hills on the southern tip of Portugal, beautiful European countryside, amazing food, friends to ride with. I knew a couple of people. I met some more people. Then they took us off road on these dirt roads and dirt trails, and they had instructors there, which I needed because I'm certainly not a dirt rider, but lots of fun, lots of laughs, absolutely beautiful, and a much needed, well, I don't know if needed, but definitely appreciated break from reality, just to be on the bike and hanging out and for a couple of days. Truly, just absolutely loved it. If you go to sportbikeinc.com, you can see my review of the motorcycles that we rode and the trip. You can go to my Facebook or Instagram. I posted a lot of pictures. I have more video to post. I am just not good at editing video. I got a bunch of GoPro video that hopefully one day will come to light. But anyway, just an amazing trip. Side note, the return flight on Iberia Airlines sucked. Why? And I don't, okay, I have another show I do called Soapbox. Some of you listen to it. It's on the Fireside Chat app, and it is a chance to get on the soapbox and rant. I rant, and then I let you rant. Fireside Chat is the app. Check it out. I do it on Thursdays. You'll like it. Got another show that I'm going to be doing to announce toward the end. Well, I'll announce it now. I'm going to start doing more with TYT, the Young Turks, which is a YouTube news network. I'm going to start doing weekly videos on that. So I'm looking forward to that. So things are happening. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about. Two things in Portugal besides the ride. The flight back was on Iberia, and I could blame Triumph. I could blame myself. I should have routed. Well, I flew back. I had to go to Tampa to do a gig. I flew from Lisbon, Portugal to Madrid, from Madrid to Miami, Miami to Tampa. It was hell because the flight from Miami to Madrid, the longest flight, was in a coach middle seat. Why did I have such a crappy seat? Because it was a ticket that you can't pick your seat. I fault the airlines for this. Why do you sell a ticket so cheap? Like, how much does it cost to click the computer and get a seat? This is where airlines nickel and dime us with fees, take advantage of people, and rip you off. Couldn't pick a seat. So at the last minute, of course, what seats are left? The middle seats. And that's where they put me. I'm too big for a middle seat. Thank God the guy next to me had a sense of humor because he was almost as big as me and we made it. My knee hurt more after that flight than after 2 days of motorcycle riding. Now, the part that was my fault, I could have routed, I found out later, could have taken Delta and flown through Amsterdam, which I love, city, the airport and everything about it, to Atlanta and gone to Tampa that way. And I have status with Delta. I probably definitely could have got a better seat. So that it's on me for not researching, but it's on airlines for nickel and diamond and selling these cheap ass seats. And of course, corporations buy cheap ass seats. But anyway, it is what it is. I made it back. It was a phenomenal trip. So that's okay. The interesting thing about Portugal, I tweeted from Portugal that gas is $8 a gallon. People are wearing masks indoors and there are no angry truckers. Or I think I put not one angry truck driver to be seen. That tweet got over 100,000 likes. It's the most popular thing I've ever put on Twitter, which surprised me, but that's cool. Yeah, and Portugal just couldn't have been nicer. Go to Europe. If you haven't been to Europe, go to Europe. Just go to Europe and eat. Just go see what it's like. And I mean, we just had a lunch at a roadside restaurant. It was amazing. It was a multi-course lunch. They brought out salad. Then they brought out meats and vegetables. Then they brought out desserts. It's all fresh. People sit down and eat. They don't understand the concept of fast food. Met a guy in Portugal who's married to a friend of mine's sister. And he was saying, yeah, when I worked with Americans, at lunch, they would sit at their desk and eat sandwiches. And I was like, what's wrong with you? And he would get up and leave the office and go have lunch like people do. Oh, go to Europe, get something to eat, see what it's like. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, this is the part. I have to get into this. The Ketanji Brown Jackson Supreme Court confirmation hearings are ridiculous, embarrassing, stupid, racist, and just truly a horrible example of everything. It is a plain example. Listen, if there's one thing racist white people hate, it's a black person smarter than them. They showed this under Barack Obama. They're showing it now with Judge Jackson. She is so far above these people questioning her that it is an insult that they are allowed to ask questions. We got a new idiot who's taken center stage, Marsha Blackburn, senator from Tennessee, who's asking her about transgender youth and Ms. Jackson is answering properly to some of these questions, saying, this is possibly something that will come before me in the Supreme Court. Therefore, I can't comment now. That is the truth. You don't want to judge whose mind is made up beforehand, do you? Yes, they do. They want another handmaid like Amy, whatever the hell her name is, the last one that they confirmed. And I don't look up her name because I honestly have no respect for her as a Supreme Court justice. There's no way she belongs on the court. Lindsey Graham asked Judge Jackson to rate her faith on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you fucking kidding me? You're not allowed to ask that on a regular job application. A lowlife, lying, Trump ass kissing piece of shit like Lindsey Graham has the nerve to ask this woman about her faith. Guess what? This is the law. Okay. The United States is a nation of laws, not a nation of religions. Okay. These are the same people who constantly try to scare you at Muslims and Sharia law. And they're asking a Supreme Court justice to rate her faith. I'm going to get into Ted Cruz in a minute because when it comes to assholes, hard to beat Ted Cruz. But I'm just going to read this one thing about Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson in relation to these assholes that they've confirmed that they rushed to. Can you imagine her crying during the hearings, yelling, "I like beer," the way Kavanaugh did? Can you imagine? No, you can't. You can't even imagine it. That's how far from reality it is. Okay. Judge Jackson has more experience than 4 of the current justices combined. Not more experience than 4, more experience than 4 of them combined. Okay? She has been a clerk at the Supreme Court. She's been a public defender. She's a district judge. She's a court of appeals judge. It's beyond imagining. She would be the first and only justice with that experience. Public defender, and clerking for a Supreme Court justice. Sorry, I can't even talk because it's so fucking ridiculous that these people have the nerve to question her. Why? Because they're trying to appeal to their small-minded racist base and keep their jobs. And as someone I was talking to said, they just want a sound clip of asking the question, so they try to get these gotcha moments. But you can't get a gotcha moment with a woman so much smarter than you that it's a joke. Comedy, I cannot exceed reality. That's the problem with comedy. You try to parody reality, and it's impossible. I talked about being a black man in a mask at a bank. They arrest Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther, for being a black man in a mask in a bank. I have a whole bit about Stupid Don't Get Tired is the name of my current comedy tour. And I talk about the fact that there are smart people that can't dumb their shit down enough for stupid people to understand. And that's the way it is for Judge Jackson, hopefully soon to be Justice Jackson. And I said, my happiest circumstance will be that the Senate splits equally and that Kamala Harris is the one to provide the confirming vote to put a black woman on the Supreme Court. That would be perfect to me, perfect justice. But anyway, she can't be dumb enough for these people who are talking to her. These Republican senators, they're just garbage. They're just garbage. This Marsha Blackburn is garbage. We already knew Lindsey Graham was crap. Now, let's talk about Ted Cruz. Okay, to start with, Ted Cruz was in Montana again. I don't know what the distinguished senator from Texas is doing, spending so much time in Montana. It is very interesting that he's the one always talking about somebody else. Like if Joe Biden goes on a vacation to visit his family, it's horrible. Ted Cruz is in Montana all the time, and he's yelling at the counter people, "Don't you know who I am?" Yelling to the point that the police had to come. Let me tell you something that a publicist will tell you. Any publicist will tell you here in Hollywood, okay, where publicity is a job. If you have to ask somebody, "Don't you know who I am?" then you are nobody. Okay, Ted? If you have to ask, "Don't you know who I am?" then you are nobody. Okay? A-listers never have to ask, "Don't they know who you are?" Here's another thing. His problem at the counter was he was checking in too late for his flight. Do you know how difficult that is to do? I'm a frequent flyer. As you all know, I fly a ton. If you fly just twice a year, once a year, you know this. When they send you so many notifications about checking in, they send you one 2 days in advance. They send you one exactly 24 hours before the flight. They send one a few hours. They keep saying it's time to check in. You haven't checked in. You have to check in. You have to check in an hour before the flight or you lose your seat. They start telling you that when you buy your ticket. So, Ted, the fact that you didn't check in on time has nothing to do with these people working at the counter. It has to do with the fact that you are a asshole, a self-important asshole. I bet you checked in on time when you were trying to run from Texas during the cold snap when people were dying. Bet you checked in time for your Cancun flight, you piece of shit. Now, let's talk about him questioning Judge Johnson. I'm sorry, Jackson. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. I'm sorry, I have to do the name. I get upset with fucking Ted. Asking her stupid questions like, "Do you believe a child is racist at birth?" No, Ted. No, they learn racism from people like you fucking piece of shit. Okay, I'm going to stop with that. I'm not going to go into this. And by the way, did I watch the hearings? Unwatchable. I would get too angry. I honestly would. I would watch for a few minutes. I would get too angry. I have to turn it off. I had to stop listening. I was trying to listen on the radio in the car because the questions are so ridiculous. They're trying to pin this crazy narrative on her that she is somehow easy on child molesters because she asked a question. She was asked the question, is a child pornographer a pedophile? Okay. That was the question that was brought up. And they said, oh, well, she's going easy on child molesters. No, she's trying to find out more information about something she's not expert on. Okay. Obviously, they're both horrible, whether it be child pornographers or child molesters. They're horrible fucking people. And she said that, and that's not the question, but they're trying to twist that. And then there's once again, this was the thing. Aren't you somebody? They actually asked her, are you secretly trying to teach critical race theory? Okay. Supreme Court justices don't teach. Do you understand that? That's not their job. There's not some hidden agenda. Yeah, I'm sure when Ketanji Brown Jackson started school, she said, yeah, I'm going to study hard. I'm going to work. I'm going to go to Harvard. I'm going to go to Harvard, and then I'm going to become a judge. And then I'm going to become a district judge. And then I'm going to become a circuit court judge. Why? Because I want to teach critical race theory. It's been in the back of her mind from day one. Fuck off. You fucking idiots. How dare you? How dare you talk to her? And here's the real comical part. They've already confirmed her 3 times in her career, but suddenly they got a problem with her. It is embarrassing. It is disgusting. It is racism at the highest level. Ted Cruz had the nerve to say when Joe Biden nominated her that it was unfair to white men. The fact that he's choosing a black woman means that a qualified white man doesn't get a chance. Guess what, Ted? There have been 108 white male Supreme Court justices. How many times do you think when the president was looking at them said, did we check and see if there was a qualified black woman? I'm going to go with never. And this woman, the toughest thing, not the toughest thing, just one of the million tough things she has to deal with is the stereotype of the angry black woman. She can't say what she should say, which is your question is utterly ridiculous or whatever. No, she can't say it in any way because then she's stereotypes as the angry black woman. If she was up there crying and yelling and screaming and holding tantrums like Kavanaugh was, she would be instantly disqualified. There wouldn't be a chance. And you know what? Everyone knows it. I read a great piece in an editorial by a black woman about when is it enough? When it is enough. As a black woman, as a black person, you're taught you have to work twice as hard to get half as far. This woman has done everything, every step of the way. Harvard University, law school, lawyer, the public defender's office, judge on a higher court, everything. Still not enough. They still question her as if she just walked in. They still have the nerve to act like this is some kind of gimme from affirmative action. No, you know what a gimme is? Justice Kavanaugh and his family's connections. Some mysterious person paying off all of his debts. That's a gimme. They didn't have any concern about that. How dare they? Okay, I'm going to stop with this because I'm going to move on to something that is related to this. Okay. And it is the question, and you've asked this question. I've asked this question. I've actually rhetorically asked this on the podcast. Why are they so angry? Why are white people, poor white Republican people, so angry? You know why they're so angry? Because they lost. They've lost, and they're going to lose again. First of all, let me say that conservatives have always been wrong on social issues. You can go back to slavery. They were wrong when they tried to split the country and keep the slaves. They were wrong about women's right to vote. They were wrong about the Civil Rights Act. They were wrong about gay marriage. Society always moves forward. People are given more rights. Society opens up to people and corrects past wrongs. So they're wrong again. They're wrong again. Now their thing is transgender and blah, blah. They're wrong again. Roe v. Wade, illegal abortion, you were wrong. You lost. These conservatives lose in every time. It takes time. Like Barack Obama said, you're pivoting an ocean liner. It takes time to turn a big ship. Okay. But they're always wrong. Here's another reason they're angry. They're losing. They are losing. Okay, let's compare. And this is a great article, by the way. It is in, what is this called? Yes, a Solutions Journal. Again, my Flipboard app just gives me all kind of information, and it's not all progressive information. I get Fox News articles in my news feed. I can read Fox News, I just can't watch it. Anyway, how are white people in Republican America falling behind financially? Okay, so here's the growth in median household income by race in areas with a strong party control. This is from 2000 to 2019, so it's almost 20 years. It's a pretty good study. In the growth in median household income in where they have Democratic governments, white income has grown $6,700. Non-white income has grown $5,700. Where they have a Republican government, $1,700. This is in 19 years. Non-white, $4,300. So not only have the whites done poorly, they've done more poorly in Republican-controlled areas than non-whites. That's how bad racist white Republican government works. That's how hard these people are willing to screw themselves so that Elon Musk doesn't have to pay taxes. Okay, let's continue. Let's look at the median household income in areas with strong party control, meaning you can easily define the area as Democratic or Republican. Cities versus rural towns. Let's be honest. Let's look at that. White Democratic government, median income, $82,400. White Republican government, median income, $58,000. Okay? It's not working. It is not working. Oh, let's talk about violence, right? They love to talk about violence in the cities and Chicago, and the black people are all killing each other. Really? Because what's really interesting is how many more white people die from violent crime. Now, remember, there's a lot more white people, so it makes sense that it would happen to more of them. But guess where most white people die of violent crime? Violent crime meaning things like homicide, suicide, drug overdoses, fatal accidents, etc. Okay? The highest number of white deaths come under Republican government. Okay? Actually, it's not even close. It's not even close. Deaths per 100,000 in Democratic government, 77.8. In Republican government, 102.5. Why are they mad? Because their government doesn't work. Because their policies don't work. Oh, and finally, let's talk about this nonsense, okay, about them paying too much taxes and costing too much money. Guess who supports this country? You know who supports this country? Urban Democratic places. That's who supports this country. Okay, white people talk about this nonsense about entitlements and paying for shit. No, you know who pays for stuff? Democratic cities. Looking at the money, okay, from this is what they say. That white people subsidize welfare, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, let's look at the truth. Okay. Let's look at the truth. For the largest urbanized states, the three with Democratic control of all branches of government, which would be California, New York, and Illinois, had a gross domestic product much higher than the Republican controlled states of Texas, Florida, and Ohio. Okay. How much bigger? Democrat voting counties with 60% of America's population, okay, 60% of the population generate 67% of the nation's personal income, 70% of the nation's GDP, pay 71% of federal taxes, give 73% of charitable contributions, and pay 75% of state and local taxes. Yes, it is the Democrats who are paying for this government and paying for this country to keep running. And you know what these Republicans are? They're poor white people, poor, angry white people. Why are they angry? Because their system doesn't work. Why are they unwilling to compromise? Because their leaders are getting money from rich white people who do not want to pay taxes, and they're screw you stupid, ignorant, easily manipulated, angry, racist, followers. Okay, just keep them watching Fox News, keep milking them, taking advantage of them, get them angry, keep them angry. When numbers, what is it? Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. I know you can make statistics say anything, but everybody knows it and they know it. The Democratic states, the Democratic cities pay more taxes, have more successful economies, and are what keeps this country going. And that's why they're angry. So, the hell with them. I hope Ketanji Brown Jackson is confirmed to the Supreme Court. I think she will be. I think they have to, even though they hate it. They're looking for sound bites against it. I'm pretty sure she will be confirmed. It'll be a shame if she's not. It'll be disgusting if she's not. And as I said, I hope it's an even vote and that Kamala Harris is the one to make the deciding vote. I will be on the Young Turks starting next week, doing videos on various news stories every week. I look forward to doing that. You can follow me on Fireside, the chat app. I'm doing Soapbox every Thursdays. And finally, as always, I'm out here doing live comedy. So this weekend, I'm going to be at Laugh Camp, a club in St. Paul, Minnesota that I haven't been to. And I've been to Minnesota in a long time. From what I understand, it's still cold. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Who's paying attention? For 350 episodes, you guys are, and I thank you.